Hi, goes and family. Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Wednesday feels like Friday, but we're still gonna get it going all at the same time. Today's word of the day is curvaceous, curvaceous, basically curvaceous and whatnot. Basically having a full or voluptuous figure, as they call curvy, as short instead of saying, curvaceous and whatnot. But the word of the day is curvaceous. And, somebody having a full or voluptuous figure. And, when it comes to preference in women, I love, voluptuous, full figure women, always have, always will. But anyways, I chose this word today because um, more people need to have more of a full-figured bank account. More people need to have more of a full-figured mindset. A lot of people were trained in grade school, K through 12, to have a thin mindset. That's the best way I can put it. To have a thin mindset because wanting to grow outside of the box, and this is why I think a lot of, my generation, the millennial generation coming out of school, the kids going through school right now, coming out of school right now, a lot of teachers don't have their attention. It's worse now than it was when I was growing up, but a lot of teachers do not have their attention, the students' attentions and whatnot, for one specific reason. And that specific reason is the majority of the students that are in the class do not want to live the life of the teachers. Working hard for low pay, being a government employee for 30 years and things of that nature. Is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. But a lot of, especially now, kids in middle school or junior high or high school, they're not striving to have a regular 9 to 5 nowadays. They want to have the full figured mindset. They don't want to have the thin mindset that the K through 12 schooling is teaching them. And I'm not knocking teachers. I'm not knocking the school system, but because the school system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. That's what people say. The parents that are involved, it's up to you to educate your kids on the economics of everything, so that they can have a full figured mind outside of the school. Because if you just leave them to the school system can make them think whatever you want, whatever you allow them to think and whatnot. We live in a free country in America where you're supposed to be able to challenge people's opinions, people's perspectives, at least without getting killed. So that's why having engagement, having intellectual discussion matters. Discussion outside of especially once they get a certain age. Little kids is one thing. Starting off small, when they're younger is good, but once they start getting into 12, 13, let them learn the principles of money. Let them have a full figure mindset. Let them know that there's other ways to make money. Let them know where money really comes from. And a lot of people's like, well, I don't know. Well, figure it out. It's called Google. It's called books. Crazy concept. It's called YouTube University. That's all it's called. It's getting the information, jotting it down, having analytical discussions, and drawing some sort of analytical conclusion when it comes to anything, because everything isn't as black and white as it should be. A lot of generations would have had probably less crime. I heard this saying today on EYL University. It's probably one of the deepest things, because a gentleman, he came from the Midwest, East Chicago, Pennsylvania. East Chicago, Illinois, Indiana, Lord have mercy, I can't get it right. East Chicago, Illinois. And he basically made a statement that I had to repeat because it was the realest thing ever. Ian, Wild University, he said, the crime rate and the rate of deaths and whatnot, and prison incarceration probably would have been at 50% within the last 20 years in the Midwest. And when he's talking the Midwest, he's talking about Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Gary, Indiana. He's talking that triangle, because he says it's basically the same, those specific areas. Rust Belt cities. Excuse me. But he stated that if people knew more about investments, from real estate, from the stock market, and really knew the principles of wealth outside of having a nice paying job, the crime rate wouldn't have been so crazy and infested in those specific areas. Those areas 50 to 60 years ago were Rust Belt areas where, manufacturing was high. But once the 70s and the 80s came and the 90s came, manufacturing was disappearing at a very, very high rate. Either the jobs were going down south or they were going overseas, mostly going overseas because of the cheap labor. So thinking outside of the box means a lot, and having a full-figured mindset means a lot. A curvaceous mindset means a lot, because if the economy changes, well, we already know that the economy is changing now, and it's going to continuously change even more so. So to those that are not thinking the future, not even doing the research, and even he really kept hitting the head, and it really stuck with me. So I really appreciate that, Ian. He kept saying, "I'm not going to do all the research for you. You got to start reading. You got to start listening to the. If you don't like reading, listen to the audible books and whatnot. You got to start doing the research in regards to not only what's happening now, but what's going to happen in the future." You know, he's like, right? And he even said this and I have to tend to agree with it. He's like, it's at a point now where the information in regards to how to invest your money in real estate, the stock market, cryptocurrency, whatever have you, it's darn near basically for free. The information being put out there. But if you want to just continuously, as he said, and he's a man who's well off financially, if you continuously just want to turn up, watch it, be entertained and whatnot, then do not complain about your economic situation. Because your economic situation, it depends on not only you having a job, but what you do with the money that you make. I can't put it any other way. For my people that are thinking about getting married, and my people that are having kids, my people that want better things in life and whatnot, your job isn't going to provide that for you. And even if it does, the maintaining of it all, it's going to get harder and harder and harder, regardless who's sitting in the, I say it all the time, White House, State House, and the Mayor's House. If you don't start making money outside of the job, you know, if you don't start making money outside, if you own a business and whatnot, you got to have multiple streams of income. It's not a want, it's a must. So I can't put it any other way. But that statement stuck with me big time today. Today's actual quote of the day, though, is Bertrand Russell. He stated, "The hardest thing to learn in life is which bridge to cross and which bridge to burn." 2021 has definitely showed me the bridges I need to burn, even though I'm not a big fan of burning them. I don't really call me burning bridges with people. I just stop talking. It's just like I just stop dealing with them. You know, that's the beautiful thing about living in the technological world that we live in today. It's easy to cut people off with a simple unfollow, block, unfriend, whatever have you. It's very simple. But you know, life is, you know, 2021 has taught, and 2020 has taught me the value of life even more so, with all the people that have passed away for various reasons, not just for the number one that's in question that I will not mention. But it's taught me to I only have a certain amount of time on this earth, and I want to enjoy every single moment of it. I want to every single moment of enjoyment, learning, implementation, learning, implementation, learning, implementation when it comes to health and wealth, learning and implementation. And if you don't have a good spirit to you, you gotta go. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, that's just what it is. So learn to burn the bridges or just cut them off. Learn the bridges you need to cross. And that's the one I'll be working on more so, by connecting with more people that are like-minded and whatnot. Because you see the shirt says, "Real men discuss business, little boys gossip." And that's what the only men I'm trying to be associated with is the men that are about the business. All right. So do the great 3 free things, family. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. And as I always say, make money moves or you're going to live broke like a fool. Take care.